Welcome to Seize the Mains by Malhotra's IS Academy. I am Surbhi Sardana and this is Season 3 of our Daily Answer Writing Initiative. This initiative is running in parallel with our website, which is rajisacademy.com. After watching this video, take your time, click on the link in the description and visit our website. It has a lot of study material, it has a lot of things that can help you in your preparation and all quality content. Talking about this initiative, here in the mains answer writing section, this is where Seize the Mains gets coordinated. Every day from Monday to Saturday, we come out with a question from current affairs here in Seize the Mains at 9 p.m. We discuss that current topic, one model answer is generated, one model answer is discussed with regards to that topic, and that question and answer directly goes to our website in the mains answer writing section. After going through this discussion, go to the website, check out the model answer for today, which will be discussed here. After that, in the comment section for that question, try to post your own answer. Try to write your answer as soon as you finish watching this video. Just try your handwriting a model answer and post it on our website by logging in there through Discuss, Gmail, Twitter or Facebook. Once you post your answers, in the next 48 hours, our team will evaluate your responses and respond back with their feedback entirely free of cost. Some students have been associated with us right since day one. So this is question number 145th that we are on today, and they've seen immense improvement. Sometimes we find it hard to figure out any errors or suggest any improvements in the answers that they send to us. So definitely join this initiative. This will help you retain better for prelims as well. This will help you gain confidence over your expression capabilities and answer writing techniques, so that you can score a very good mark in mains and rank very highly. The question for today would be asked from Uniform Civil Code. Question number 102 on our website is also with regards to Uniform Civil Code. So definitely do both the questions together. It would help in your enrichment of viewpoints. So the question is asking you to critically evaluate. That means you'll have to measure or you'll have to compare the pros and cons of Uniform Civil Code if it comes up ever. So what are the pros and cons of it? What can be the arguments against Uniform Civil Code that you can generate, and arguments in favor of Uniform Civil Code that can be generated. So we will try to write a wholesome answer. Always remember, when you have questions with regards to polity or governance, definitely talk about some laws, especially articles of constitution. Constitutional provisions should be, especially some of the fundamental rights and directive principles, including this one, Article 44 of DPSPs, that is Uniform Civil Code. That should be learnt by you, that should be memorized by you, because they have to be used in your answers, especially in introduction and some parts of body paragraph. Only this can help you get better marks in mains. Polity answers without consequent constitutional articles, they are incomplete. So what we do is we start with an introduction. We talk about the situation of Uniform Civil Code, or what does Uniform Civil Code entail. So in 2 lines we'll give a very brief introduction. After that we'll talk about the critically evaluate part. We'll move on to this critically evaluate part. We will see what is the pro side of it, what are the pros, and we'll also see the against side of it, or we'll talk about arguments in favor of Uniform Civil Code, which will justify that why Uniform Civil Code should be brought in. And on the other hand, we'll also talk about arguments against Uniform Civil Code, which will put a question on, do we even need a Uniform Civil Code as of now? So yes, in the introduction, let's talk about Uniform Civil Code first in a very brief manner. So based on their religion, faith and beliefs, India has different laws for different communities in matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance and adoption. So this is the general scenario that you're talking about, that is present right now in the country. Secondly, a Uniform Civil Code would provide for one law for the entire country, applicable to all the communities in their personal matters. So here you've given a definition of Uniform Civil Code, a very indirect definition. You've not started at what does it mean, but you've talked about that how the situation would change. So that is a perfect introduction to begin with. The constitutional list, now you will talk about the constitutional provisions, because you've already talked about UCC, you've already defined it. Now comfortably you can start by listing down the constitutional provisions. The constitution lists the UCC among the DPSPs, Directive Principles of State Policy, which makes it a desirable objective under Article 44 of the Constitution. currently Goa is the only state that has a uniform civil code. So that is a fact that you can put in your answers. Also, there are many state governments trying to pass bills to, to implement uniform civil code in their states. So that's why this has been in news back in September, then November, then again now in December, as many state governments are coming up with their respective bills. So what you can now do is, whenever you're writing this answer, whenever you're writing mains, just take a view at what are the states which have already implemented uniform civil code, and this is something from current affairs that will give a strength to your answer. The examiner would know that you're writing the answer confidently because you have read about it, you know about the updates also. So yes, arguments in favor of UCC. Whenever there is this critically evaluate part, and let's start with the positive part first. Never start with the negative part, never start with the cons part first, always start with the pros part. So first of all, personal law system, in a way it violates the principle of equality of the constitution. So your right to equality, that gets violated because different people from different communities or different religions are treated differently. They have different kinds of rights. So uniform civil code will separate religion from social relations and personal laws, ensuring equality and thus harmony in the society. So that is what UCC would entail. The second one is, it will act as a means to achieve clarity, simplicity and intelligibility in personal laws. Right now our personal laws, they are very complicated for a common man to decipher. They vary from religion to religion, and between religion also, in the religion also, amongst different communities. So definitely clarity, simplicity and intelligibility in the process, that would be there. The third one is, it will help in integration of India. How it will help in that? As a lot of animosity is caused by preferential treatment by the law to certain religious communities, this could in time induce custodians of faith to look inwards and seek to codify and reform age-old personal laws in conformity with the uniform civil code that you will bring in. Also, it will promote gender justice, as we've seen in many cases. It will promote gender justice because there are many personal laws which do not give equal rights to genders, whether it is with regards to property, inheritance, divorce rights or anything. There are many religions and many communities in which men and women and members who recognize themselves, who identify themselves with a third gender, they do not have equal rights according to the personal laws. So definitely some personal laws which definitely clarity would be there, more equality would be there, gender justice would be established. Also, we live in times of equal rights for all the genders, all the genders out there. So just do not restrict your answers to male and female only, include the third gender as well in your answers. A religion-neutral personal law would encourage protection of couples in case of intercaste and interreligious marriages. In case of interreligious marriages, the conversion also follows in case of interreligious marriages. So thus, this conversion would be done away with if UCC comes in, and intercaste marriages, interreligious marriages, they would be easily happening, as it would do away with provisions of conversion, etc. Now arguments against, and this is going to be a long one. Arguments against UCC, they are very long because India is a diverse country. We have a lot of laws when it comes to our personal matters. So there are a lot of views or arguments against UCC as compared to the number of arguments in favor of uniform civil code. So let's begin, let's take it step by step. In to make a broad outline, to create a broad outline, social laws, how society runs, how religion functions and how laws function. This has been a debate between all these three, how to balance all these three together. This has been a debate since times immemorial. Secularism versus constitutionalism, that has been a debate since time immemorial. So earlier, religion or personal laws, they were the codes for society, how to have good relations or how to be a good human being. It was coming from religion and personal laws. Now you have constitution or other legal documents or other laws that are in place. You have the criminal procedure code, IPC is there, constitution is there. So there is always a tussle. Where do we what is the defining point, what is the balancing point? That debate is never ending. So definitely expect some similar questions in your ethics case studies as well, and obviously here where we discuss UCC from time to time. Then arguments against. First of all, respect the plurality of the country. There is plurality in already codified civil and criminal laws. They say that there are many state governments who have amended civil and criminal laws also according to their need, and personal laws, they fall in concurrent list. So state governments can also, amend them according to the need. So when there is no uniformity in the entire country in case of civil and criminal laws, why is the government pressing for a uniformity in case of personal laws? So that invites doubts amongst various communities. The second is constitutional law experts argue that perhaps the framers of constitution, it has been always said that DPSP, Article 44, it talks about uniform civil code, uniform civil code, but we cannot deny the fact that the framers of constitution, they also put personal laws in concurrent list. That means they did not want complete uniformity in the country when it comes to personal laws. So they did not intend total uniformity, which is why personal laws were placed in entry 5 of concurrent list, with the power to legislate being given to parliament and state assemblies. Otherwise, you can end this point here, you don't have to go that further. Then the third one is, many experts argue that personal laws, they are part and parcel of religion and culture, and right to freedom of religion, it is one of the fundamental rights. So if you, tamper with personal laws, then can freedom of religion be assured? So that is a question, that is a debate that is there. Any interference with the personal laws would tantamount to interference with the very way of life of those who had been observing such laws from generations. State must not do anything to hinder, which would hinder the religious and cultural ethos of the people. Alright. Then fourth one is Article 44 of Constitution of India is based on the concept that there is no necessary connection between religion and personal laws in the civilized society. Just look at how beautifully this has been framed, that there is no connection between religion and personal laws. That is what Article 44 is trying to tell us. But in reality, we all know that our lives do not function like that. Yes, there is a connection between religion and personal laws. So that's not the case in reality. So that is an argument against it, a very subjective argument for that matter. So keep it towards the end. Keep objective points in the beginning and subjective points towards the end, because in the beginning, when the examiner starts reading your answer, he or she is looking for objectivity. They are looking for objectivity, that have you done the bare minimum, have you written the bare minimum points, whether it's constitutional provisions, whether it is some cases of Supreme Court which have been popular. Towards the end, the examiner also gets tired by reading, and he or she knows that you have given complete information. Towards the end, some subjectivity is always welcomed. Some viewpoint of your own or some subjective point, they're always welcomed, and you will get bonus points for that. Mark my words. Then fifth one is the Supreme Court in TMA Pai Foundation versus State of Karnataka reiterated that the essence of secularism in India is recognition and preservation of different types of people with diverse languages and different beliefs, and placing them together so as to form a whole united India. So the idea of Uniform Civil Code goes against this decision of Supreme Court itself. Then you have issue of drafting of Uniform Civil Code. See, we have tribal people living here, we have all kinds of religions and sub-communities in the religion itself. So who would draft the Uniform Civil Code, because there is no such country that is as diverse as ours and has these many number of personal laws with so much of diversity in personal laws themselves. So what would be our benchmark document, or what is the guiding document to frame a Uniform Civil Code? Will it be guided by political interest, will it be guided by religious interest, or will everyone get a say? And if everybody gets a say in forming the Uniform Civil Code, then why is there a need to form one? We can do very well with the personal laws itself. Personal laws themselves. So issue of drafting the Uniform Civil Code, as there is no guideline or vision document whether UCC should be a blend of the personal laws or a new and common law adhering to the constitutional mandate. So also the UCC would have to answer some very fundamental questions. See, your religions, any kind of religion in India that is prevalent, religion is very much clear about how to treat genders equally or unequally. There are documents and books of various religions, many scriptures are there, and they define gender roles very well. Now if you have to redefine them and you have to go beyond constitution, you have to frame a law that regulates personal laws, then you will have to question very basic concepts. For example, what is the criteria for marriage and divorce? What should be the criteria? An example can be, since for a very long time leprosy was one of the criteria for divorce, but as times evolved and medical treatments came in to treat people with leprosy, now leprosy is not a condition for divorce. So this has to be an evolving document, this has to be a living document just like our constitution. Also basic questions, basic concepts of how we live, what factors impact us, they will be put into question and they will have to be thought about. It cannot be done in a hurry. Secondly, we do not have a document for drafting the UCC anywhere else. So what are the processes of and consequences of adoption? Adoption itself seems very simple, but when there are feelings involved, there are families involved, it becomes very complex. So the basic concept of adoption that has to be understood by the framers of law themselves. What are the other questions? What are the rights to maintenance or just division of wealth in the event of a divorce? What are the rules of inheritance of property? So these questions will have to be answered before framing or drafting a UCC. Finally, there are impediments in adoption of UCC itself, because minorities or religious minorities, to be very honest, they feel it as a threat on their religious freedom. So already we are seeing a rise in number of protests amongst different religious communities. We see a lot of mob lynching. We've seen that in the past few years. Now, if you bring a UCC in, this is only going to increase the religious divides amongst different religions or amongst different groups of people, for that matter, if not religions. So minorities feel very scared, they feel very outlined in the country, and UCC is just adding fuel to the fire. So that is again, you can have your own viewpoints, definitely have your own viewpoints. These are not some established viewpoints here, but definitely, since we are talking about arguments against UCC, always write a balanced answer, always write a balanced answer. Then in the conclusion, obviously you've talked about the entire story of UCC. We used very less cases here. If you need some more cases, you can go to question 102 on our website in the mains answer writing section. The link is there in the description. In the conclusion, just end on a very diplomatic note, because let's see what the question was. Question was not asking you to take a side. It asked you to critically evaluate the need for a uniform civil code in India. It did not say that why is it needed, that you have to talk about, or why is it not needed, or what are the side effects of it, what can be the downside, not the side effects. Now, since you had to critically evaluate, the evaluation part has been done. Now you can use your own creativity with what you think about UCC. Now see, there are seasons of viewpoints. In some years, we see a lot of articles where these articles are in favor of uniform civil code, or in some years we see many articles against uniform civil code. In fact, Law Commission of India a few years back in 2018, it recommended that UCC is not desirable and it is not even needed right now. So yes, you never know, whenever you're writing mains, you can have both types of viewpoints there, and that can be inculcated in your answer also, but always take a diplomatic or a neutral stand in a question in which the government is also not sure about what to do further. So if the government is not sure, you cannot take a one-sided stand, mark my words there. So give a diplomatic or a very neutral conclusion. They say just write that all the good change that we're expecting in our country, it would depend on the thoughtfulness that goes behind its drafting and its implementation. While framing UCC, it has to be borne in mind that cultural diversity cannot be compromised to the extent that our urge for uniformity itself becomes a reason for threat to the territorial integrity of the nation. So you're talking about while framing UCC, that means you're establishing, yes, UCC would be framed or it should be framed, but also you're giving a clause that how to maintain the balance. So that is your concluding line, 2 lines for the conclusion, more than enough. The entire answer, this is your complete answer. It has been uploaded on our website, rajisacademy.com. Definitely visit the mains answer writing section, question number 145. Read this answer out, and as soon as you finish reading, start writing your own answer. Post it, no matter how incomplete you find it to be. Post it on the website. Our team will definitely help you out with their feedback. And stay tuned to the channel. All the best for your journey. I'll see you with another discussion at 9 PM tomorrow in Seize the Mains.